I've had periods where I would never smile. I remember there were certain times several years ago where I would argue with my parents and I was so unhappy with them that I would think about jumping out the window with like some sort of sense of revenge. I would weirdly fantasize about how they would react if that happened. This video is basically a list of things I wish I did during those periods. Cause as of now, I'm quite a happy person who's smiling a lot more often than before. My promise to you is that in this video, I'll tell you the best advice I have to cure depression. I'll teach you ways you can boost the happiness today, and I'll teach you ways to manage any bullshit overthinking or negative thoughts you might have. If you follow the action steps in this video, you will become a happier person, 100%, promise. By the way, my name is Isaac, and I make videos to change lives by sharing my lessons and mistakes. If you want to see more content like this, go ahead and subscribe right now. If you watched me before and you found my videos very valuable, go ahead and click the top link in the description below and click the yellow join button. That's my free community where I can directly help you with the problems in your life. I will literally comment on your posts if you decide to post in the community. So, the simple ways you can get rid of your sadness and depression are: number 1, chasing pain; number 2, getting away from digital energy; and number 3, stop deferring happiness. Number 1, chasing pain. I want to ask you an interesting question. Do you love yourself? Are you genuinely proud of yourself as a human being? Or do you, to some extent, kind of hate yourself? If you answered that you don't really love yourself, have you ever thought about why? I'll answer that question for you. It's probably because of shame. Shame is a very, very powerful emotion, and I'm pretty sure it's the main driver of most mental health problems. You feel shame when you chase comfort and pleasure, when you're unable to delay gratification, when you distract yourself from the problems in your life, when you choose instant gratification, when you scroll on social media instead of doing your homework, when you jack off instead of trying to become a happier person, when you watch Netflix or play video games or listen to music because you don't want to think about your responsibilities and your pains. And your brain is begging you to start taking action, to find solutions, to start doing shit. But you're constantly distracting yourself from what your brain is trying to tell you to do. And then, once you're done with the instant gratification activity, once you stop scrolling on social media, once you stop playing the video games or watching Netflix, once the post-nut clarity hits, you realize that you did absolutely fucking nothing for the past few hours. And inaction is a slow death. The human brain hates inaction, because if you were inactive as a caveman tens of thousands of years ago, if you didn't hunt for food or gather resources, you would die. In fact, human psychology is quite interesting. Basically, everything in life that makes you unhappy is because if a similar thing happened to a caveman from back then, it would decrease his or her chances of survival and reproduction. Literally, whenever something makes you like angry or sad or shameful or whatever, it's because like the unevolved caveman part of your brain perceives that as like, oh, I'm more likely to die. For example, when someone makes fun of you, you feel unhappy, right? That's because your caveman brain perceives that as someone trying to lower your status in the tribe, meaning you might have less support from your tribe members, which leads to a lower chance of survival. And likewise, anything that makes you happy is what would increase a caveman's chances of survival and reproduction. Okay, so back to the point. When you choose these instant gratification activities, you feel the shame. But not only do you feel the shame also creates this belief that you're kind of a loser. Your brain reacts to this shame and makes the conclusion, it forms a self-identity of you being kind of a loser. So you're more likely to seek comfort and instant gratification again, because that's what losers do. Which leads to you feeling the shame again, which reinforces this belief and self-identity that you're a loser who can't get anywhere in life. So this is a massive problem that's plaguing not just teenagers but people in general, to be honest, which is that their own brain fucking hates them, right? Your own brain thinks that it's in a body of a loser and it doesn't like being in a body of a loser. So that's why you hate yourself. Additionally, when you seek instant gratification, you delay the problem, the work, the studying, the whatever for your future self to deal with. So you're constantly being an asshole to your future self. So of course you will constantly hate your younger self and your future self will constantly hate you as well. You get a lot of these moments where you're like, fuck, I shouldn't have done that, or fuck, I should have done that. So how do you stop yourself from hating yourself? How do you start feeling proud of yourself as a human being? How do you form the self-identity of not being a loser? Well, if chasing comfort and chasing pleasure and instant gratification activities leads to shame, let's do the opposite. Let's chase pain. If you were to chase pain, doing difficult things that are quite uncomfortable, you would be basically telling your brain, no, fuck you, I'm not a loser, I'm a motherfucker who can actually do shit in life. You would be convincing your brain that you are actually able to do difficult things, and you will feel the opposite of shame, pride. You get a certain level of ego or self-worth, which is crucial to not hating yourself as a person. So how do you chase pain? There are two very quick, simple and effective ways that you can chase pain and feel proud of yourself. Number one, going for a run. And I don't just mean exercise in general, just going for a run specifically. I don't know what it is about runs or cardio specifically, but they're just fucking difficult, bro. But when I complete a run, I get a massive sense of pride and achievement, like a kind of high, like, you know, the same high you get from, I don't know, drugs or something. And I kind of look at everyone around me and I feel like, yeah, I'm better than these people. You can go for a 2.4 kilometer or 2 mile run, or even better, you can go for like a David Goggins style endurance run where you get like a bunch of highs and second wins. I think that's what they call it. Basically, like an endurance run is when you just keep running and without stopping, and at some point you'll feel like you've used up all your energy, that you're at your limit and you can't really go anymore when you've hit a wall or something. And if you were to discipline yourself to keep going when that happens, you get what they call a second wind, where basically you get a sudden surge of energy and happiness and suddenly go from being tired to feeling like you can do this shit all day. Number two, social interaction with someone you're not very familiar with. There's a habit I've adopted recently called speak to two strangers, where basically I would force myself to walk up to two strangers and start a conversation with them. Once again, I'm not too sure why, but social interaction, especially the kind of social interactions that are more uncomfortable to start to get into, make me feel absolutely amazing. I kind of get into a flow state when talking to people. It's just so rewarding and I feel proud of myself. I remember one time I actually went to this island in Singapore, Pulau Ubin, with a friend, and we approached basically every single person we saw. Shopkeepers, locals, tourists, and just started conversations with them even when we didn't feel like it, and we did that for like half the day. Easily one of the best days of my life. Now you might be thinking to yourself, oh no, but I'm shy and I'm introverted so I can't do this. That's the fucking point, bro. It's meant to be uncomfortable and kind of painful to do. In fact, this advice would be probably less effective for an extrovert. So your actionable step right now is to choose one of these two things. Number one, go for a run. Number two, start two conversations. And I want you to literally go downstairs today, like after you watch this video right now, or you could do it tomorrow, and do one of those two things, or even better, do both of them. Number two, getting away from digital energy. Let me tell you a story. From 2 weeks ago actually, The school holidays have just started, and I was excited as fuck. I'm gonna spend like a crap ton of my time on my YouTube channel. I'm gonna learn how to start a business from watching courses online and make money. I had this entire daily routine set up where basically I would wake up, script videos, study for a few hours, and then spend the whole afternoon just watching courses online on how to get better at YouTube and how to start like an online business. Sounds like a very productive routine, right? A few days into doing this routine, something weird happened. I started losing motivation for the first time in several months of consecutively working on my YouTube channel and loving it without stopping at all. I lost interest in my work suddenly and realized that I stopped enjoying life as much as I did before. I got kind of burnt out. And I was like, what the fuck? I was always like this happy guy who loved his work. What the fuck happened? One of the reasons for this, I realized, was that I overdosed on what is called digital energy. When I spent my afternoons learning about YouTube and business and consuming content, even though it wasn't high dopamine stimulating content made for like Gen Z or something, for some reason I felt that my happiness went down a little bit in the afternoon when I was learning these things. Then I recalled something I learned from this guy called Josh Mason, who was like this spirituality coach. And he talked about this thing called digital energy, which is like a toxic form of energy that you get from consuming content from your digital devices. In the modern day, the internet and social media has basically multiplied the availability of information by 1,000 times. You can now consume content made by some YouTuber or some Twitch streamer halfway across the world. You can see millionaires posting thirst traps of themselves on Instagram. And when some war happens like on the other side of the globe, you can know basically immediately. The rate at which you can consume content on the internet is 1,000 times greater than before. And the human brain just isn't used to having that amount of information. Content consumption definitely has its benefits, but we need to balance consumption with production because humans were meant to produce and have some sort of output, you know. If this balance of consumption and production is disrupted, which it is for most people, and probably for you as well, you just get a general feeling of sadness and emptiness and lack of fulfillment. And of course, mental health problems start to arise. So how do you solve this? Well, take a break from your devices. Here are two things that I like to do specifically. Number one, go for a long walk. Sometimes I like to just choose a random location on Google Maps that's like 11 kilometers, 10 kilometers away from my house and just walk all the way there. It's quite fun because there's a lot of exploration involved. You can do this by yourself if it's safe to do so, or you could also grab a friend to do it with you. Number two, journal. Grab a notebook, grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, and just start writing whatever the fuck comes onto your mind. You can write about your problems, you can write about the good things that happen in your life, you can draw, you can even journal about not having anything to journal about. Just be authentic and transparent when you journal. You usually always have something to write, as long as you're actually writing what you want to write. Going for a walk, especially without music, and journaling are really good habits for your mental health, since you're actually thinking about the problems in your life and processing any negative emotion that you might have had. There's also a level of output and production, especially with journaling, that allows you to store your thoughts somewhere so you don't have to keep holding them in your brain, and also to balance production with consumption. Number three, stop deferring happiness. A reason you're not happy with life is literally because you're delaying happiness itself. Many people find themselves working and grinding on something that they don't even like doing, that isn't even meaningful or purposeful, every single day, hoping for the one day where everything will be different, the one day where they can finally rest and do what they really want to do in life. Let me give you a few examples of this. The student who constantly grinds their academics and studying, hoping that if they work harder, they won't have to do this shit anymore. The working adult who's in like a 9 to 5 office job that he hates, but is still working hard to like provide for his for his family, hoping that one day he will be financially free and be able to have a happy retirement, spending time with his family or whatever. The entrepreneur who is doing a business model that he doesn't even fucking like, working 80-hour weeks, so hopefully one day he can become like Andrew Tate or some shit. The YouTuber who constantly chases views becomes inauthentic, changing his content to become further and further from what he truly wants to make, hating his life again just for more views. But that one day that these people are hoping for, where everything changes and becomes good, that one day never actually comes. And even if it does, it will not be how they expect it to be. The student finishes his academic life but now has to go work in a job he hates. The working adult retires as a sick man with multiple chronic illnesses who can't really even enjoy life, and he doesn't even have a good relationship with his family anymore because of how little time he has spent with them over the years. The entrepreneur ends up as one of those like depressed, empty millionaires, and the YouTuber ends up just quitting because he doesn't even like what he's making anymore. You experience this, right? You're probably working hard on something that you hate so that one day you don't have to work on it anymore, right? Whether it's academics or whatever, you are experiencing this right now, right? I'm sorry, but that day where everything will be different, that day will never come. There's this book titled Way of the Superior Man. It's a very good book for young men. It talks about masculinity from like a spirituality point of view. There's this chapter in the book, Stop Hoping for Completion of Anything in Life, which basically says that the belief that one day everything will be different is a complete myth, and that you should do what you love to do, what you're waiting to do, what you've been born to do right now. That you shouldn't sacrifice purpose and meaning to chase some material reward or enjoyment that's probably not even gonna come. And you know the weird part about this? It's actually kind of comfortable deferring happiness. You hate your life, you suffer and you feel pain, but you aren't taking any risks. Cause in order to live the life that you actually want to live, you need to take some risks. You need to take time out of your day to do what you're passionate about. Study less hours to work on a YouTube channel, switching to a part-time job to start a business, switch to a less profitable but more enjoyable business model that's more authentic to you. Make videos that might get less views but are more authentic to you. So, your actionable step right now is to ask yourself, if we gave you infinite money, what would your daily routine look like 10 years from now after you receive the money? I'm assuming in those 10 years you already went and like traveled the world and met the people you looked up to and did whatever the hell you wanted to do with the money. And I'm assuming that you didn't get dragged into like, I don't know, partying or drugs or having sex with girls or something. What would your daily routine look like after your life kind of settles? What work would you be doing because you genuinely love working on that thing and it's meaningful and purposeful? And not because you want money, because you already have infinite money. Why not start working on that thing right now? Why not start trying out new things and pursuing your interests instead of just studying all day? Your actionable step is to do what you love to do, what you are waiting to do, what you've been born to do. Now. I hope this video was valuable. Please give me any criticism and feedback in the comments below. Criticize me as much as you can so that I can improve, and I wish you a good day.